Welcome back to Scottish Movies, and today I'm going to be showing you my complete 80s movie collection. I grew up in the 80s, and obviously it's my favourite sort of decade for movies. Some absolute classics came out in the 80s, and I've been collecting them for a long time now. Um, yeah, I can't confess to seeing every film that's going to be shown in this video, but yeah, I do enjoy watching a good 80s movie, and what I'm going to do is split this video into a few parts, and this is the first part, and it's going to be starting with 1980. Okay, so first up we've got movies from 1980. First one I've got is The Empire Strikes Back. Now this is my favourite movie of all time. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I do own this on Blu-ray as well. This is actually one of the sort of despecialized versions on DVD. Well, it's got the special editions from 1997, and it's got, like I said, the despecialized edition on there as well. And I've got the Blu-rays, and I do plan on picking up all the Star Wars movies on 4K as well. Just haven't got around to it yet, but yeah, that's Empire Strikes Back. Not a lot more I can say about that. Okay, next film is Airplane. This is actually my favourite comedy of all time. I think I spoke about this on the channel before. It's an absolute classic. It just cracks me up every time, and I'm still finding new things about it today that I've not noticed in the past. But yeah, brilliant film. Okay, next film is Caddyshack. It's obviously a film about golf. So that's probably one of my favourite comedians from Hollywood, and that's Chevy Chase, and obviously Bill Murray as well. Yeah, very funny film. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. Really, it's up there with the comedy classics. Really. Next one we've got is another Chevy Chase film. Rather little known film. It's called Seems Like Old Times with Goldie Hawn. Yeah, this is very early, Chevy Chase film, and yeah, I really enjoy it. Seen it quite a few times, and yeah, that Seems Like Old Times. It's quite underrated. If you've not seen it, it's worth checking it out. Okay, next film we got is Gregory's Girl. This is basically about a girl growing up in the early 80s, playing football, which obviously wasn't something you'd see in that day and age. Obviously now women's football's everywhere, but yeah, it's a very good British film. It's worth checking out. Next one we've got is Any Which Way You Can with Clint Eastwood. Now this is the sort of sequel to Every Which Way But Loose, and stars obviously Clint Eastwood and Clyde the Ape. Love these films. I actually prefer this one to the first one. This is where at the end he gets in a massive fist fight that sort of goes all over town. But yeah, if you've never seen these movies, they're definitely worth checking out. Next one we've got is Superman 2. Yeah, favourite Superman movie. What's the early Superman movie, Christopher Reeve movie. Absolutely love this film. You've got the what they called, like Zod and his two cronies come out of the Phantom Zone and cause an absolute chaos for Superman. And I've obviously got this on Blu-ray as well, but this is the DVD with the Donner cut, which I don't actually own on Blu-ray. At least I don't think I do. But yeah, Superman 2, classic film. Okay. Next film is one I picked up recently, Al Pacino in Cruising. Now, this is one film I've not actually seen. Don't really know much about it either, but I knew it was an 80s film, so I recently picked it up. Next film, another one I've seen, and that's The Blues Brothers. Yeah, classic film. Great music, very funny. If you've not seen Blues Brothers, check it out. Highly recommended. And the next movie is another film with Goldie Hawn, Private Benjamin. Don't remember much about this. I have seen it, probably not since I was a teenager. I'll be honest, I can't remember much about it. Maybe I need to give it a rewatch, but I do remember it being very good. Next film is The Jazz Singer with Neil Diamond. Yeah, this is another one I've not seen. I picked it up because it was an 80s movie, just for the collection. I don't really know if it'd be my thing, but well, probably my parents' kind of thing. But yeah, that's The Jazz Singer. I believe it's supposed to be pretty good. Next one is a war movie called The Big Red One. Now this actually stars Mark Hamill. I think he made this film after Star Wars and before Empire Strikes Back. He's not like the main star, but the main thing I do remember about this movie is him basically getting his testicles blown off by a grenade or something. And yeah, it was just, I remember thinking it was pretty grim when I saw it as a kid. But yeah, I've not watched it since, but yeah, it is a good war movie. Okay, next one is, I've got an Arrow release of a film called Nightmare City. I picked this up not long ago on Jason Brett's recommendation, and I'll be honest, I didn't realise until I was checking out things for this list that it was a 1980 movie. Yeah, zombie movie, and it's not bad. I do agree with Jason. I think he says that the ending's not too great, and I would agree with him on that. But it is worth checking out anyway. Okay, next movie is another Christopher Reeve movie, Somewhere in Time. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it on any of my videos anyway, but I'm a huge time travel fan, and this is another good one. This is one where Christopher Reeve basically seems to look into a photo or a picture, and he goes back in time. It's a bit bizarre, but it's kind of a love story. But I do enjoy this film, and this is quite underrated as well. It's worth checking out. Okay, next one I've got picked up not long ago is a Blue Lagoon. Basically, a couple of kids stranded on a desert island, and it's kind of coming of age movie. I picked this up, like I say, not quite recently, and added it to the collection. But I did see it back in the 80s, and yeah, it's not a bad movie. Next one is another one I watched quite recently for the first time. That's The Fog. I really enjoyed this movie. I do want to upgrade this onto Blu-ray. I'd previously just seen the remake, which was garbage. But yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah, very good horror film. And if you've not seen The Fog, yeah, check it out. Next one is another film I've not seen, and that's Raging Bull, Robert De Niro. Not a huge boxing fan, I'll be honest. Probably why I've not watched this yet. I like the Rocky movies, but I know this is probably a lot more sort of realistic, and I probably need to get it watched at least once. But yeah, I've had this in the collection for quite a long time as well, so yeah, I need to get onto that. Next movie we've got is The Shining. I watched this for the first time probably a couple of years ago as well. Didn't watch it growing up, and I'll be honest, it's not one of my favourites. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this film. Maybe it might have had more impact when I watched it when I was younger, but yeah, I wasn't really a fan. But yeah, we can't all like the same thing, so anyway, that's The Shining. And the last one from 1980 is Flash Gordon. Obviously, I've got this on the 4K Steelbook. Absolutely love this film. I remember watching this in the cinema when I was 8. And I think we went with my brother who was 5, and I remember him basically crying at the moment they're on the sort of revolving platform with Baron when he's having a fight, and I think my brother thought he was going to die. So yeah, I still wind him up about that to this day. But yeah, classic camp campus Christmas movie, but yeah, it's great fun. I absolutely love this film. That's Flash Gordon. Okay, so on to 1981. Okay, so the first film up in 1981 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Obviously, the Indiana Jones films personified the 80s. We had Raiders in 81, Temple of Doom in 1984, and Last Crusade in 1989. I never actually saw Raiders of the Lost Ark in the cinema. I remember having a choice when I was a kid. I would have been about 10. Of what film to see in the cinema, and I actually picked the film that's coming up next. I don't know if I've regretted ever since, but obviously eventually got to see Raiders of the Lost Ark a couple of years later or something, whenever it come out on VHS, and absolutely loved it. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, probably the fourth film not so much, but yeah, they're all classics. I definitely saw, I think, Temple of Doom and Last Crusade in the cinema, and there's not much more to be said about Indiana Jones, absolute classics. And the next film, I say the one I saw instead of Indiana Jones, was Clash of the Titans. This is obviously the original movie. Yeah, I love this. Ray Harryhausen and all these special effects. Grew up watching like Jason and the Argonauts as well, and films like that as a kid. And obviously this was like his new project in 1981. And yeah, love this film. It's great fun. This is obviously the HMV Premium Edition. I've not actually rewatched it since I got this, so I need to get onto that. But yeah, I saw this instead of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. Then next film up we've got is Halloween 2. I'll be honest, I can't remember if I've actually seen this or not. I only saw the first Halloween that I can remember a few years back. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually watched Halloween 2. I know it obviously got Jamie Lee Curtis again. I need to get on this. Maybe this Halloween I need to get onto it. I only watched the 2018 film this last year as well. So, yeah, I'm a bit slow on the old horrors. Next film is something I definitely saw growing up, and that's the Cannonball Run. Obviously, like a big race. Got loads of stars in this. Burt Reynolds there. And I think it's Dom DeLuise, Roger Moore. Well, yeah, it's a great fun road movie, race movie, you know. And if you've not seen that, the Cannonball Run, definitely worth checking out. I think the sequel's all right as well, from what I remember. I don't actually own that. I need to get onto that and pick that up. Next film is a film called Excalibur. I don't remember much about this. I did see this when I was a kid. And I've probably not seen it since, but I do like sort of films with knights and medieval and stuff like that. So yeah, I remember it being a good film, and yeah, that's Excalibur. Next film is a film I've not seen, and that's On Golden Pond. Obviously, this is a 3-pack with Sophie's Choice, which I think is from 1982. Another film there from 1991, but yeah, on Golden Pond, I think this was might have been an Oscar winner at the time. I don't know if it's really my thing, but I come across this 3-pack recently, so I added it to the collection, obviously for me, for the 280s movies there. Next film we've got is Dudley Moore and Liza Minnelli and Arthur. Obviously this was remade a few years ago with Russell Brand, which was a bit rubbish from what I remember, but yeah, this is the original, and yeah, I remember this being this pretty good. I did watch this in the 80s. This actually had a sequel as well, which I think came out very late 80s, but I don't actually own that one. That's another one I need to keep an eye out for. But yeah, it's a good movie. Next film is probably the original teen comedy, and that's Porky's. Closely followed by Porky's 2, which came out, I think it's a couple of years later. But yeah, if you grew up in the 80s as a teenager, you would have seen Porky's at some time or another. And there's a couple of scenes there that everyone remembers, which I'm not going to mention here. But yeah, it paved the way for things like American Pie going forward. Okay, next one is a film I only saw a couple of years ago again, and this is American Werewolf in London. Obviously, this is probably the best werewolf movie I've probably seen. I can't believe it took me till just a couple of years ago to watch this. I watched it on lockdown, and yeah, it's a fantastic film, and I do need to maybe upgrade this to Blu-ray. Still got obviously the DVD there, and yeah, if you're not seeing this one, definitely worth checking out. Next film is the first of the Bond movies from 1980s, sorry, and that's For Your Eyes Only. Slowly working my way through picking up the all the Bond movies on Blu-ray. Still a few need to get, but I think I've got a couple of 80s ones later in the 80s that I've not picked up yet. But yeah, remember this being all right. I quite like the theme song, and yeah, it's a bit of Roger Moore. He was my Bond growing up, so yeah, that's For Your Eyes Only. The next film is actually First Blood, the first of the Rambo films, and yeah, this is a fantastic film. I must have watched First Blood dozens of times growing up. It's one that I remember getting told by one of my friends, "Oh, you got to watch this film. This guy loses his arm and he has to sew it back on." Now, that's not strictly what happens, but I think I went in initially with the assuming that was the case, and obviously that doesn't happen. But not I was imagining anyway, and yeah, but it's the original and the best of the Rambo movies, and yeah, if you've not seen First Blood, definitely just check that out. And the next movie is actually another of a trilogy, and that's Mad Max 2. I think the original one come out late 70s, and then Mad Max 3, which on this box set came out, I think I want to say 1985. I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, the Mad Max movie is good fun. I actually, controversially, probably like the third one the best, although it's gradually mostly known as the weakest. But yeah, yeah, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. Check it out, it's a good film. The next one is, this is actually Escape to Victory. This is the Region 1 DVD. Football movie, Sylvester Stallone, Michael Caine. This recently released on the premium collection, and I do want to get that upgraded. I've not seen this probably since the 80s, I'll be honest. But yeah, Sylvester Stallone as the goalie, I remember that. But yeah, it's good for a fun movie, and it was like Spot the Footballer in back when I was a kid. So yeah, good film. Next one is a musical, and that's Shock Treatment, which is kind of a follow-up to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's not as good as Rocky Horror, but I do really enjoy this film. It's kind of ahead of its time because it was a film about like reality TV, and a hell of a lot of the songs in this film. It's probably only a couple of duffers, but if you've not seen Shock Treatment, it's worth checking it out. It's currently on an Arrow release, but yeah, it's got the same cast as Rocky Horror as well. Probably minus the Bran and Janet characters, they recast them, but these are like Richard O'Brien and a few of the others are in this. Oh, and Tim Curry as well is obviously missing, but yeah, it's a good movie. The next one is another time travel movie, which I watched growing up, and that's Time Bandits. I think I spoke about this before. Fantastic time travel movie. Favourite bit being John Cleese's short appearance as Robin Hood, which I just think is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, Time Bandits, sorry. Yeah, definitely get onto that one. Next film is a film I've not seen. This is a very early Tom Cruise film called Taps. I'll be honest, I don't know nothing about it. I actually picked this up in a Sean Penn box set with another 80s film called Colours. Yeah, that's it. I know nothing about it. It might be pretty good. Maybe I need to check it out. Okay, next film is a film that I believe won an Oscar. and it's got an iconic score to it. That's Chariots of Fire. I think I watched this in the 80s. I don't remember a lot about it. Maybe need to give this a rewatch as well. But I know it's a classic film, and just the score is excellent. And the final one from the 80s, from 1981, sorry, is actually The Omen 3. I've not seen that one either. I've seen the first Omen. Obviously, this set has actually got, as you can see there, first film, second one, third one, a fourth one. I didn't know there was one, and a remake from 2006. But yeah, maybe need to get onto the sequels, but I've not checked them out yet. Anyway, that's 1981. On to the next year. Okay, so on to 1982. First up, we've got Rocky 3. Yeah, I love Rocky 3. It's probably my second favourite Rocky film. I know the first two are obviously the best made sort of films, and the Oscar winners and everything. But yeah, for pure just fun and enjoyment, I do prefer Rocky 3 and Rocky 4. Rocky 4 being my favourite. It's released in 1985. But yeah, Rocky 3 is the one where he takes on Mr. T, and also Hulk Hogan in a sort of exhibition match. But yeah, can't beat Rocky. Great fun. Okay, coming up next is actually Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. I like Star Trek. I'm not the biggest fan like Star Wars, but I do like Star Trek. Obviously in the 80s we had Star Trek 2 in 82, we had Star Trek 3 in 84, Star Trek 4 in 87, and Star Trek 5 in 89. So 4 Star Trek movies in the decade. My favourite one actually being Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I think it's the fish out of water thing that I like about that, and obviously that they're going after the whales. But yeah, Wrath of Khan is a very good movie. Loads better than the motion picture, which I think is just boring, really. I did try and watch it again when I got this Blu-ray set, and yeah, it's just a bit of a snooze fest, I'll be honest. Yeah, Wrath of Khan loads better, and yeah, that's Star Trek 2. Next up is an all-time classic in E.T. Watched this growing up. Obviously, I was probably about 10 when this came out. Yeah, what can you say about E.T.? It's just a classic, brilliant score. Yeah, one of the best sort of Spielberg movies out there. And yeah, that's E.T. Next one is a film I've not actually seen, and that's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah, this is another sort of, I think, a teen comedy along the lines of Porky's, I think. And for some reason, this passed me by. I've not actually seen this, obviously, growing up, and I've not seen it yet, so I do need to get onto this. I picked up the Blu-ray, I think it was in Poundland. So, yeah, I need to get onto that pretty urgently. Next one we've got is The Thing. Obviously, fantastic sci-fi film. With the probably practical effects now, but they still look pretty good today, I think. And yeah, it's John Carpenter film, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's a classic film. Get onto it. The next film stars a couple of comedians from the UK, and that was Cannonball. Yeah, I think I watched this growing up. Probably thought it was quite amusing. Did you like Cannonball? I don't know if this really holds up today, but yeah, it was good fun for the time, and yeah. Next one is a couple more cops, and that's 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. Yeah, this is a good action film. If you're not a fan of swearing, it's probably not the best film for you, but yeah, good action film from the 80s. Eddie Murphy getting started, and obviously went on to do like Beverly Hills Cop in a couple of years, where I think he really took off. But yeah, this is still a good movie. Next film is actually this one. That's Who Dares Wins with Lewis Collins. Yeah, I remember seeing this growing up. I think it's generally about the SAS. And I remember it being pretty good and pretty violent. And yeah, that's about it really. Another 80s film here, I think, The Year of the Gun with Andrew McCarthy. I can't remember what year that was out. Well, there's another one on this set. But yeah, Who Dares Wins. It's quite a good movie. I need to check that out again actually. And the next one, some horror from Mr. Spielberg again. And that's Poltergeist. Yeah, this was something I did see when I was younger, and yeah, it's a pretty scary movie. Obviously when you was a kid. But yeah, and they did remake it a few years ago, and it was a bit naff. But yeah, Poltergeist is a classic. Next one, it's a musical, and it's not Oliver, it's Annie. A lot of famous songs with this, with A Hard Knock Life, and can't remember, there's a couple of others. Watched this in the 80s, I'll be honest, I've not watched it since, but I do like a musical, and it's yeah, it's one of the better ones. Next film is an Australian film with Mel Gibson. Probably a little known film this. I remember watching this growing up in the 80s and really enjoying it. It's basically a war film about the Anzacs. I think it's in World War II, and yeah, I'd need to rewatch it because it's been a long time. But Attack Force Z, yeah. If you've not heard of this film, see if you can hunt it out anyway. It's a good war movie. Next one is a bit of Arnie, and that's Conan the Barbarian. Not seen this for a long time either, but obviously one of Arnie's earliest films. And yeah, iconic characters there in Conan. Obviously went on to do a sequel in, I think it was 1984, in Conan the Destroyer. But yeah, good action film. Can't go wrong with a bit of Arnie. Next one is something that I watched in the 80s, being Blade Runner. And I've not watched it since, and I need to watch this, and I keep saying this every year because I've still not seen the sequel. But I think watching it growing up, I love Harrison Ford, one of my favourite actors, but I don't know, growing up and at the time when I was a lot younger, I couldn't get into Blade Runner, I just didn't get it. And for what, 30, 40 years later, I've still not revisited it. But yeah, I need to get onto it. I've got a Blu-ray copy of this as well, with the final cut. Comment down below maybe which one's the one to watch. Yeah, no, I need to get this watched and then watch the sequel, which I believe is very, very good. So yeah, that's Blade Runner. Next film's a film starring Dustin Hoffman, where he basically dresses up in drag, and that's Tootsie. I think I saw this a long time ago. I think I remember my parents actually going to see it at the cinema at the time. But I think I've watched it since. And yeah, it's quite a funny film. That's Tootsie. Next one is a multiple Oscar winner, which is Gandhi. You know, he made that one good film and no one ever heard from him again, as Trigger from Only Fools and Horses pointed out once. Well, yeah, I've never actually seen Gandhi. I picked this up recently in a charity shop. I don't really know if it's for me, but it's something I probably need to check out, being a big Oscar winner. But I know it's a long film. I struggle with long films, so we'll see. We'll watch it one day. Next one is a Steve Martin film. It's on this 3-pack. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. I've not seen this one. I've not seen The Lonely Guy, and I've seen bits of The Jerk, which I think were in the late 70s. Yeah, I need to get onto these actually. I love me Steve Martin. Favourite film of his probably been either Planes, Trains and Automobiles or Three Amigos, something like that, which will be coming up later in this list. But yeah, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Don't know much about it, but I know it's supposed to be pretty good. Next one is a film I saw about 8-9 years ago for the first time. and that's The Snowman. I've got a good friend who's a huge, and I mean huge, fan of The Snowman. She's got lots of Snowman merchandise, and yeah, it's a classic film. I don't know why I never watched this when I was a kid, but it somehow escaped me, and I wasn't really interested. But yeah, it's a fantastic film, and my daughter loves this now as well. Yeah, that's The Snowman. Next is another film that I do remember watching growing up, and that was The Dark Crystal. Obviously, this is from, I think it's Jim Henson, and like the Muppet Studio, and it's like an adventure film. Not seen it for a long time. I know they made a series on Netflix, which I never watched either. Or said I'd watch The Dark Crystal again and watch it, and yeah, a couple of years later, I'm still not seeing it. But yeah, that's The Dark Crystal. It is a good movie. Yeah, that's worth checking out. And finally, from 1982, we've got Airplane 2, the sequel. Absolutely love this film. So the Airplane 1 being my favourite comedy of all time. Airplane 2's up there. I know it gets a lot of grief for obviously not being as good, but I kind of merged the two together, if I'm honest. There's bits in this that I think are in the first one and vice versa. I think the court scene in this being a particular highlight, and William Shatner just hamming it up. But yeah, I think it's a very good sequel and worth checking out if you're a fan of Airplane. And yeah, that's it for 1982. Okay, so on to 1983, and first up, we've got some more Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's Vacation. Yeah, this is the probably original and best of the Vacation movies. I've seen this film multiple times, absolutely love it. Obviously, it was followed up by another couple of Vacation movies in the 80s, which were the European Vacation in 86 and obviously the Christmas Vacation in 89, both which are also awesome movies. Absolutely love Chevy Chase, as I mentioned before, and yeah, the guy's a legend. He might be a bit of a dick by all accounts in real life, but I just think he's great in his movies. So that's National Lampoon's Vacation. Next, we've got some Matthew Broderick in War Games. I spoke about War Games on the channel before. It's one of them movies that if it appeared on the TV, no matter whether it was half an hour to go or been on 5 minutes, I just sit there and watch it. And I love movies about computers. And yeah, although this is very, very dated now, I still enjoy it. And yeah, that's War Games. Love it. Next up, we got some more Bond in Octopussy. Obviously, Roger Moore again. I don't remember much about Octopussy. I know it's probably, I think, maybe one of the weaker Bonds, but yeah, it's just Roger Moore and Bond doing his thing. Really, I don't remember the theme tune to this one either. I couldn't tell you how it goes. I'm not going to start singing, so anyway. But I couldn't tell you how this even goes. Next up, we've got Blue Thunder. In the early 80s, we had a couple of helicopter shows, Blue Thunder being one of them, and Airwolf. Now, if I remember rightly, this is like the sort of pilot episode of the TV series, and obviously it was like a movie length. Now I watched this when I picked up the Blu-ray not long ago, and yeah, it's quite a good action film. I still think I'm more partial to Airwolf when it comes to the meat attack helicopters, though, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's Blue Thunder. Okay. Next up, we got some more Eddie Murphy, along with Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places. Obviously, this is the HMV Premium Blu-ray. Yeah, absolute classic. This was where Eddie Murphy obviously made this after 48 Hours and before Beverly Hills Cop. And if 48 Hours didn't get him recognised, I think this did. And then he obviously went on to do Beverly Hills Cop, and by then he was like a megastar. Obviously, Dan Aykroyd, very good in it as well, and Jamie Lee Curtis. But yeah, this is a very, very funny film if you've not seen it, and I highly recommend it. Next up, another film I've mentioned on the channel before. which is BMX Bandits, Nicole Kidman's first film. Now, this was just a film I used to watch all the time as a kid. I never really had a BMX, but I was a fan, and it's probably partly to do with this film. And yeah, I've seen it so many times, I could quote it till the cows come home. Yeah, BMX Bandits. This is the German release as well. Okay, next up, we've got Christopher Lambert in Greystoke, Legend of Tarzan. Don't remember much about this. I remember my dad being a fan. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I don't know if it was really my thing. I like Tarzan growing up. I used to watch Johnny Weissmuller, black and white films, but this one wasn't. I don't think I was a big fan. But yeah, obviously Christopher Lambert going on to do Highlander. Next up, we got a Christmas film which I picked up only last year, and I've not watched it yet. Maybe I need to check it out next Christmas. So this is A Christmas Story. See this in a lot of people's favourite Christmas movie lists. I don't know anything about it, I'll be honest, and yeah, maybe just want to check out next Christmas. Next up, we've got an early Tom Cruise movie again, with All the Right Moves. Don't really remember a lot about this one either. I'm guessing he's a footballer, but yeah. Yeah, I don't remember watching this actually growing up, but yeah, I've got it anyway. Next up is another Steve Martin film, and this is one I have seen. This is The Man with Two Brains. And this is a very, very funny film with Kathleen Turner as well. Even the guy's name in this film is just funny. If you've seen it, you'll know what it is. But yeah, this is a very, very funny film, and I do remember this from when I was growing up watching it. Next up, we've got a bit of action adventure in Krull. Yeah, this was one I did enjoy watching growing up. Don't remember a lot about it. I've probably not seen it since, I'll be honest. I know it's on on Blu-ray on a premium range, and I would like to upgrade it and give it another watch. But yeah, that's Krull. There's a mix of sort of medieval and sort of sci-fi as well, and I can't really remember, but yeah, that's Krull. Next up, we've got Flashdance, obviously about the lady who's a welder, with a bit of an iconic song, and there's probably a couple of other songs on the soundtrack that's pretty good, but I don't remember a lot about it. Just that What a Feeling song, but yeah, it's a good movie though. Next up, we got some more early Tom Cruise in Risky Business. Yet another one I've not seen. I know there's a scene in this where he's dancing his pants or something in the front room. I don't know. Yeah, there he is on the back. It's quite iconic, but I've not seen it, but this one I'll have to check out. Next up, we've got Jaws 3, or Jaws 3D, as it was called. Yeah, this was one of the first 3D movies that come out in the cinema, and if you watch this back now, it does look flipping awful, but there's only been one real good Jaws movie, and that's the first one. Second one's not bad, and if we don't want to talk about the revenge, but I do like this DVD set. It's a bit of a lenticular on the cover. So yeah, that's Jaws 3D. Next up, we've got the Evil Dead trilogy. I'll say trilogy. The first one came out in 1983 in the UK, followed by the second movie in 1987. Sam Raimi's classic horror. I'm sure this was banned at one point, but hence why it came out a couple of years later, I think, in the UK. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, these classics. Probably need to check these out on Blu-ray or 4K going forward. But yeah, classic horrors there, and some I have actually seen as well. Next up, we've got a film called The Big Chill. I picked this up not recently in charity shop. Knew it was from the 80s, but I've never actually seen it. Looks quite a good cast there. But yeah, I can't really comment because I've not seen it. Comment down below if you've seen it, if it's any good. Next up, we've got more Stephen King in Christine. Yeah, about the killer car. Yeah, very good film. This used to scare me as a kid. Yeah, I've not seen it for a long time though. Another one I need to check out again. That's Christine. Next up, we've got Return of the Jedi. As I said with Empire Strikes Back, obviously a huge Star Wars fan. This being the third of the original trilogy, and this DVD is the has the despecialized version. And again, as I've got all the Star Wars films on Blu-ray as well. There's not much more to say about Jedi. Yeah, it's a classic. Next up, we've got some Michael Keaton and Mr. Mom. I've only seen this once. I don't remember much about it. I didn't watch it growing up, but I vaguely recall it being quite good. Just sort of standard 80s comedy, really. And yeah, Michael Keaton obviously went on to do a lot bigger roles in Batman and that in the 80s. But yeah, that's Mr. Mom. Next up, I've got the Superman collection here. This is for Superman 3 and probably Superman 4. Superman 3 being out in 1983. Superman 4 come out later in 1987. I like Superman 3 with Richard Pryor. Probably sort of stole the show, really. But to this day, the lady in the they get sort of attacked by the computer and all tied up in the wires and turns all evil. It still freaks me out to this day, but as a kid that was just terrifying. And finally, we've got some Al Pacino in Scarface. Now, I'm not a big sort of gangster movie fan, and I could probably safely say this alongside the probably Untouchables are my favourite sort of gangster movies. I don't know what it was about Scarface, but I really enjoyed it. Didn't watch it growing up. Watched it probably, I don't know, about 5 years ago, probably for the first time, something like that, if not longer. But yeah, this is a 6-film collection. Where there's another 80s film there, which is Sea of Love, which I think's from about 89, 88. I'm not 100%. But yeah, that's Scarface. Okay, and that's the end of 1983. And that's the end of part 1 of my complete 80s movie collection. Feel free to check out part 2, which will be coming soon. Give this video a like. Comment down below what your favourite 80s movie is. And give us a sub. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.